What are your expectations for taking your pet to a training class? Do you have actual goals? Have you communicated those to the person teaching the class? Some people have goals like stopping a behavior, like my dog keeps getting up on the counter and I need it to stop. My dog barks too much and I need it to stop. That one gets really complicated because dogs bark for a lot of reasons. So that's one thing to think about. What are your goals? And then we have to think about, what is the depth of your goal? Do you just want it to stop? Because if that's true, you're probably not going to reach your goal. Most, take that back. So, is your goal, I hope that your goal is dealing with whatever behavior stimulated you to come to class, but also recognizing that your pet is a whole animal, just like you're a whole person. And there are a lot of things going on. And not only that, but you're going to have that animal for a very long time. We hope you're going to be, have that animal in your life for 20 years or so. Who knows how long, but we hope it's a long time. And you're going to encounter other things, other ways that your pet is exploring the world and seeing whether this behavior would be good or that behavior would be good. What I hope your goal is to learn about your pet and help your pet learn about you so that the two of you can interact as you go forward in the future on behaviors, because everybody tries out behaviors. And the question is that going to work or not? And you have a lot of influence over that. Learning to observe, learning to recognize what's going on in the environment and what might be about to cause a problem can make a huge difference in your pet's life. A really good example is a vet visit. How many people took their dog to the vet a few times and nothing bad happened, so they assumed everything was going well, and then on that fifth toenail trim at the vet, their dog growled and snapped. The vet muzzled him, and then it just got worse from there. Well, what does that mean? It means that things weren't going that well, and the pet owner was unaware because they didn't know how to look for those problems, and more importantly, they didn't know how to prevent the problems. If we're always setting up great experiences for our pets, there won't be any problems. That's just how it works. If you recognize how to spot a problem coming down the street in the form of a little old lady with a giant German Shepherd pulling at the end of the leash, and clearly she has no control over the dog, and the dog is facing straight at your dog, even though it's 25 feet away, recognize that your dog sees that as a problem. And if you can see it, then you can prevent. You can institute emergency measures. You can turn around and go the other way to help your dog cope, to help your dog learn, to get your dog out of an unsafe situation. You may not think it looks that unsafe, but your dog might. In fact, if you really look close, it probably is unsafe. But that's just one example of being able to look at the world through your dog's eyes, or your cat's eyes. If your cat is terrified of being in a carrier, then you have some work to do with the carrier before you take your cat to the vet. It's really not okay just to stuff your cat in a carrier and take off. No, they won't just get over it. But these are things, I just briefly, I'll just mention our Beyond Basic Manners class. That's the goal of our class. My goal for that class, and this may be really stupid as a business person, but I want you to learn everything that you need to know in that class to move forward with your pet, maybe for their entire life. Yes, I want you to come back. I want you to take more classes. I want you to love training and want to do stuff, want to learn new things and work with me. And at the same time, I recognize that people's lives are busy and they may not be able to do that. They just want to have a happy life with their pet. And if they can have these resources and really learn in my class, we don't just go through the motions. We really learn. I make sure you learn. And that's what I want for you. I want you to learn new things. A little bit more on this topic. Sometimes appliances come with owner's manuals, and they tell you which button to push after you have assembled the thing and you set it up the way that it needs to be set up, and then you push the button for it to start doing what it's supposed to do. But if you read a little further in the owner's manual, it also tells you how to maintain it, how to take care of it so that it lasts a very long time, and how to troubleshoot any problems that you might observe. Of course, appliances are getting more and more complicated with the computerization, and all the more need for a big long table of troubleshooting things that, oh, I've got message E4 on my washer. What does that mean? Oh, it means your drain hose is clogged up. Well, what do I do? Okay, you take care of it. For maintenance, you have to go to the maintenance section and look at, well, every once in a while, I don't know anything about washers, but, you may need to take the drain hose off or, I don't know, clean something out. Certainly you have to clean the lint filter. You have to find that lint filter, and sometimes it's not that obvious. You have to find it, and you have to get the lint out of it before a problem happens. That's always a good idea. So why am I talking about owner's manuals? Because owner's manuals are not best used by just finding the on and off button. With pets, sometimes people go to classes thinking they're just going to learn where the on and off buttons are. Think about it. You have people think they're going to install cues, which, it's a part of it. But we're not just learning what to say to dogs and cats to make something happen. It's not just discovering what words they know. Because while, you might get a rescue dog and he might have a history of knowing something, it's not just the word sit, for instance. It's the environment in which that word came to his ears, and not only how that word sounded coming out of a certain person's mouth, but that whole person, the way they look, the way they smell, how they were standing, how quickly they gave the treat after the dog did the behavior or threw the ball for them or whatever. It's a whole scenario. And you're not that person. So, believe it or not, the on button and the off button for one person are not the same for another person unless you very carefully train that animal to respond to that cue, no matter who says it. Complicated? Yeah, it is, but it's what we have to understand about pets in order to help them learn the things that we want them to learn, that help us and help them have amazing lives. So comparing it to raising children is pretty similar. You send the kid to school in a class of 20 first graders, right? Your kid's one of those 20. And yes, believe it or not, children learn through consequences and association, just like dogs and cats do, and just like you do. But you may have a situation where your kid comes home and is not doing as well in math. They're not seeming to understand the math problems that they're learning as well as the rest of the classes. Well, what is that? What do we need to change? What do we need to do? What about that environment is not conducive to your particular kid learning that particular thing? Sometimes, yes, it's a learning disability, but often it's not. Often it's the environment to which your child is contributing. So when I was a kid, I talked in class a lot. I did not pay attention. I was also very fortunate that I was really smart and I picked up stuff really quickly. So I didn't get bad grades, but I'm going to bet that some of the kids around me did because I was irritating them and not letting them learn. So these are all things. I mean, just like with your dog or cat, if they don't feel well, that's part of the environment too. That's the internal environment of that animal where all their focus is on their tummy ache or the fact that it hurts when they urinate or their skin is itching. They don't have time to learn your silly, I want you to put your butt on the ground when you hear the word sit. They can't think about that because the environment is not conducive to it. So we've covered owner's manuals, we've covered children, we've related them all back to dogs and cats and their learning. And I want to once more go back to what are your goals? Because I'm going to recommend some goals. I'm going to recommend that you don't just learn to change the oil in your car. No. I'm going to recommend that you don't just notice when the light comes on to tell you your oil pressure is low in your car. You learn to make a plan moving forward to have your oil changed or change it yourself on a regular schedule to prevent that light from coming on. And maybe even go a little bit farther and have at least a basic understanding of why your car needs oil. What is that oil doing for your car? And what happens when your oil gets low or when your oil gets dirty? That's what I'm wanting you to learn in the Beyond Basic Manners class. I want you to transform your knowledge and your skills into those of your pet's best trainer. You are your pet's trainer, not me. And I want to equip you for that task that you have. It is a joy. For me, being my pet's trainer is a delight. And I want it to be for you too, because I believe that if it's not, you're really missing out on some of the best things about having a pet. So that's what I want to do for you. And I want to help you create those goals, and I want to help you attain those goals.
Bye-bye. Girl, nailed it. Okay, that's all. That's all.